Hey guys, welcome to Flat Tutorials. And first of all, I want to say that I'm sorry that I haven't been uploaded any video for like 3 weeks now, and I'm really sorry because I wasn't free at all for like a month now, and I'm so sorry. Okay, so in the last episode we have created our car to generate some skid marks on the road. And I told you that in today's episode we're gonna create a SkidSmoke system. So let's just jump right on the tutorial, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so first you need to create a particle system for smoke. We gotta have to generate that. To generate the smoke, we need a particle system to generate it, to animate the particles look like that they are smoke. So yeah, so the first thing that you need is a texture. So I have created this texture in GIMP, and the dimensions are 100 by 100, and I just taken sort of like a gray color, and I applied it with two different strokes. One is this one, and one is, I guess, this one, and I applied it 2 times with the transparency on, and I exported in PNG so that the transparency is on. You can't really see it from here, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, now what we have to do is and make sure that you have do it in the right way, and yeah, now let's just go ahead and import this texture to Unity. So all you have to do is to just grab this texture and drag it inside of Unity, and I'm gonna put it inside of the artwork folder within the environment folder, and I put it right there, and there I have the SkidSmoke, and it doesn't at all look like it is transparent, but that doesn't really matter, it is transparent. Alright, now let's just move on to the material and create a new material, and let's name it as SkidSmoke. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go ahead and drag it over to this empty assigned variable of texture, and then set the shader to particles additive. This will gonna turn the transparency on, and it will give us a nice looking particle material look to it. Alright, now we need to create a particle system for it. Now for those who are using Unity for like a year, or so they really know about the old particle system that Unity has been using. It's called Legacy Particle System. The new one is called Sharingan. I don't really know what it is. So I'm gonna show you how you can create a SkidSmoke particles inside of the old particle system, which is Legacy Particle System. Alright, so first of all, what you need to do is to create a new empty game object. So it doesn't really matter where you create it, so just go ahead and create an empty game object. I'm just gonna pull it right there, and it is down. I'm just gonna pull it up. Alright, now there we go. There we have our empty game object. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach some components to it. So let's go add component, and then go let's say effects, then go legacy particles, and apply and add this ellipsoid particle emitter. And this controls how many particles and what size of the particles and what direction of the particles is gonna be. So you need to attach this component, and now go over to here and add one more component, which is go to legacy particles and apply particle animator. This component will allow you to animate your particle by making it fade, or you can add force on it, just like this one, and but just a bit more animation sequences, and you can also change the size as the time goes on. And now let's just move on to and now you have to add one more component to it. Go to the legacy particle and add particle renderer. Now this this component will make your particle to render in the world space. As you can see, it is showing pink color, but it doesn't really matter what it shows. So now in particle renderer, there's a empty assigned variable which is of material. So we need to assign this material. So how we're gonna do it is we're gonna go to the material, and the material that we have just created of SkidSmoke, we're gonna just go ahead and grab that empty game object and drag this SkidSmoke material over to element 0, and there we go. You can see that every and each plane, I guess they are plane, and every and each plane has the texture of that smoke on it. Okay, now we need to change these all values. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna set the minimum size to 1, so the value of each size of the each particle will be minimum 1. Alright, now maximum size I'm gonna set it to 1.5 so that it won't be that much large, and I'm gonna set the minimum energy to 3. Doesn't really okay, maximum energy, let's say 7, 8 would be good. Alright, and minimum emission I'm gonna set it to 15, and let's set the maximum emission to 20. Okay, now word velocity. Now this this is a vector 3 variable, as you can see, and we need our smoke to go upside after it instantiated. So we are just gonna go ahead and add it some value to upside, and 0.67 would be good. Looks really good. Okay, now let's go to the local velocity. Local velocity is also a vector 3 variable, except it adds velocity according to the rotation of the particle system, basically the transform of the particle system. So I'm gonna add the local velocity on z, negative value, just a bit, doesn't really matter how much you add it, depends on you, what kind of effect you want, but I just really need negative 2.2. So if we're gonna be something like this, you can see we have added some y velocity and backward z velocity. Alright, now you can see I don't really want to play with these values, and the random velocity is the variable that adds a random motion to both of the size of an axis. So if you want if you wanted to add some velocity on the both side of the axis, you can use the random velocity. And let's check the random rotation. If we're gonna make your particle move randomly, as you can see they are going straight, but as you click on it you can see they are rotating in the random way. And make sure you have checked the simulate in workspace. That will gonna give us a really good effect. Ellipsoid is the range on which particle can act. So I'm gonna set it to 0 because I don't really want my particle to move that freely. So 0.01, and all the values is going to be 0.01. Okay, now let's just go ahead, and you can see that it is creating a really large trail, and that's actually what I want. Okay, now let's see to the particle and emitter. You can set these values, these alpha values, to make your texture glow or fade at the starting. So this is the starting variable, and this is the end variable. So till this one the texture should be faded out. So first one I'm gonna set it to high value, somewhat like white, more large value. This would be good, and no, this would be good, and leave it right there because I am really cool with that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add this to a higher value, and I'm gonna set it to just a bit backward, somewhat like over here. Size grow. Okay, now size grow is gonna be the variable that will gonna make your particles grow as soon as the time goes on. So I'm just gonna make it a bit more higher value so that we're gonna look really cool, but it's kind of like a really huge. So I'm gonna set it to 0.1. This would be good. You can see fading out, and I just want to add some random velocity to it, just a bit, not that much. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is let's just go down, and we have billboard on. We don't really have to play with these values. Let's say maximum particle size to 0.2. Good. Okay, softness, increase it a bit, and this is basically the shader quality. Okay, so as you can see we got a really good particle system going on, and you can play with your settings. You can adjust it as the way you like. Doesn't really matter that you have to adjust it the way I did, but you can use these values also. Okay, now let's apply this particle system to our car so that we're gonna create some smoke. Okay, so all we have to do is to pull this one to my car like this. Okay, there we go. All we have to do is we need to pull this one, and of course we are not going to assemble it by our hands, we're gonna do it by script, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, now one more thing that you have to know, that a lot of people what do is that oh wait a second. A lot of people what do that they just go ahead in order to turn on or off a particle system, they just disable that game object and the particle just goes right away, and this is not the way you have to do it. You don't need to turn off the game object, you need to turn on the emission so that the particle will stop emitting, and that will look cool. So you can see the emission is stopped, but the particles that are emitted are still in void space. But if you turn off the game object, the particles will go right away, and that's what you don't want. Actually, that's what I don't want, and if you wanted to do it, just do it. I don't really care. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to our scripting. Okay, so all we have to do is to go our skidding script. Yeah, all the code that we are gonna be doing is gonna be inside of the skidding script. So yeah, that would gonna be pretty easy. Okay, so let's just go ahead and create a variable. What variable? SkidSmoke, and it is gonna be a particle. You know what? Let's say it is a game object. Game object. End of the statement. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on and off this game object. Okay, so let's just go ahead and let's go over here, and where we have called a skid mesh function, we're gonna do it all the code over here. So we're gonna go ahead and type SkidSmoke dot particle emitter dot emit is equals to true, and if this statement is not true, then go over here and set it to false. Okay, that's all you have to do. Now let's just go on to the Unity, and let's just go ahead and check it out. Okay, now we have an empty assigned variable over here. Now we're gonna select all of these wheel corridors. You know what? We need to create 4 copies of this game object. So I'm just gonna go ahead and name it as smoke FL, means front left is smoke. Okay, so we need to create 4 duplicate of this game object. So I'm just gonna go duplicate. I'm gonna press Ctrl D 2 times, and there we go. There I have 4 variables of it. Now I'm gonna set it to FL to FR, this one to R. Sorry, I'm so sorry. This one to RL, and this one to RR. So rear right, front left, rear left, and yeah. Now let's just go ahead and assign it to them. So FL is gonna be on FL, SkidSmoke. FR is gonna be on FR. RL is gonna be on RL, and RR is gonna be on RR. Okay. Now what we're gonna do? We're gonna just go ahead and select all of these smoke objects and disable the emission value of them. So we don't have emission going on right now. Now we're just gonna go ahead and play the game, and as you start skidding, you can see what's gonna happen. You can see that emission is going on, and that's what we want, right? That's exactly what we want. But you know, it is going only on one tire, and that's what we don't want. So we're gonna go to the start function, and you know what, I'm gonna create one more variable, which is gonna be variable smoke depth float, and it is gonna be equals to 0.4. okay, now all we have to do is to set the SkidSmoke dot transform dot position is equals to transform dot position, and we're gonna go ahead and go SkidSmoke dot position, SkidSmoke transform dot position dot y minus equals skid depth. Skid depth, is there a variable? Smoke depth, sorry. Smoke depth. Alright. So what this means is we are setting the SkidSmoke particle system to the position of the wheel transform, and actually wheel collider, and we are subtracting some value on the y-axis, so that it we're gonna be somewhat down on the y-axis, and that we're gonna give us really good effect. And we can change value, we can change the y value according to the wheel's radius, but I'm gonna set it to 0.4, doesn't really matter. Okay, now let's just go ahead and check it out. Okay, you can see all of them are in their place, and it is working pretty fine. As you can see, we have the smoke going on, and it is looking pretty cool, by the way. Actually, it is looking really good, and you can see that's why I added the y velocity on it, because I really want my smoke to move dynamically, and it looks really cool. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that I have to change some values of glowiness of this particle system, but it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. Okay, now there's one more thing, one more effect that I want, and that effect is when the car starts, the car should skid first for a while, and then just keep on going the way it is going. So in order to do that, by the way, you will get that what I mean by that in a second. Okay, so first thing that we have to do is we need to change some if statement that we have created in our last episode, and some of them we are created in our previous episodes. So let's just move on to it, and yeah, so first if statement that I'm going to edit is let's say this one. Alright, so I'm gonna add a or statement, and by or I mean that if whether this statement is true, or the statement which is here is true, then execute this statement. Okay, that's all it means. So this symbol says that you have like this ampersand, 2 ampersand sign means and these two, I don't know what this is, but I call it vertical dashes. So these vertical dashes means you are saying that this is the or statement. Okay, so one statement is this, and one statement is gonna be here. So what this statement is gonna be is we're gonna tell the computer, you know what, let's just move on to it. Enough of the talking. So it's gonna be variable RPM. Let's just go ahead and access the variable, access the wheel collider of the transform. So transform.getComponent, and we're gonna add the component wheel collider, and in this component I'm gonna access RPM. Okay, now RPM is assigned to a RPM value. Now what I'm gonna do is in the or I'm gonna go ahead and say RPM should be greater than RPM should be if it is if it is smaller than 300, or you can just set it to whatever value you want, but I'm gonna set it to 300, and after that I'm gonna check if I'm pressing the vertical key or not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and type and, which is basically and I'm gonna go input dot get access get access, oh wait, input dot get access vertical it is gonna be capital, I guess, and I guess we should be going forward for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and it should be greater than 0, not equal to 0. It should be always greater than 0. And we need to check the emission value of sound, so we're gonna go ahead and add this value also there. So it's gonna be sound and sound. Sorry, I've added 2 ands more, so it's gonna be and sound weight, and I guess we are good to go now. Okay, now let's just go ahead and add the same statement over here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and type or RPM 300 and all that. You don't really need sound weight variable over here, so I'm just gonna remove that. So this statement is gonna be having RPM is smaller than 300 and input.get access is greater than 0. That's it. So make sure these other 2 lines are correct on your code, and let's just go ahead and check it out. Okay, what is wrong? Input. Okay, I haven't have added input, capital I. Everybody do this type of mistakes. It's not actually my fault. Okay, now let's just go ahead and check it out. As you can see at the starting, we have some emission going on. So you can see at the starting, so it looks pretty cool. It looks like the game I have played called, I don't know, I've played in a lot of games, and you can see there are some glitches going on, that the front wheel also having the same emission value, but I don't really want the front wheels to emit a smoke when the game when it is emitting at initial point. So I'm just gonna change that by creating a variable boolean, which is gonna be an up-type boolean, rear wheel, and it is an up-type boolean, and the default values will be set to false. And let's just go ahead and add it to here, and if it is a rear wheel, then emit the smoke and sound and skid mark. Okay, now you can see. Okay, now let's just go ahead and play. Yeah, I haven't have set it. And now select all the rear wheel, RL and RR, and set the rear wheel turned on. So now the emission will only go on the rear wheels. Great, right? Now one more thing I want is one glitch is there. You can see if I set my car at the top and I bring my car down, and as I press it, you can see that it is generating a smoke in a space, and that's what we don't want. So what we're gonna do now is we are just gonna go over here and check if our wheel is grounded. So hit.collider, we're gonna check it. So hit.collider, you can use hit.collider as to check if our if we are hitting on some collider or not. Doesn't really matter what collider it is. It should be, but just should be a collider. That's it. Okay, now let's just found and expecting, I don't really know. The hell, I always do that. I don't really know why. This should be fixed. Let's just go ahead and check it out. Okay, now let's see. This should be working. As we go down, you can see we have emission going on, and it stops. And this looks pretty cool, and this is the effect that I was trying to achieve, and I hope sure that was the effect that you were trying to achieve. And if you don't, then I don't know what to say, but this is the effect that I was trying to achieve. Yeah, you can see, looks pretty cool, the sounds pretty cool, and yeah, so let's just go ahead and take a look at the code one more time. So as you can see, I have created the first variable SkidSmoke, and I have turned on SkidSmoke as we are generating the skid mesh, which is skid marks. So this is pretty easy, you can understand it in just a minute, or you can see. And then I have edited the if statement. Now there is a thing that you will try to ask me, why I used RPM. Now I used RPM to just get a value, get an initial value of our car's speed. So if the RPM is below 300, then till then the sound will the skid sound will gonna generate, and the emission will go on of a smoke and skid mesh. And one more thing, that make sure your code should look something like this. And here I have checked that the vertical keys is greater than 0, means I'm pressing W or the up arrow to move forward. And if I'm moving forward and my RPM is below 300 and the wheel is rear wheel and it is grounded, then generate this effect. That's all it means, and it is a pretty easy code, you can understand by your own. And in the start function, I have what I have done is I have set the position of the SkidSmoke to the position of the wheel transform, wheel collider. Wheel collider is also a transform, and subtracted some value on y-axis so that it will go somewhat like, somewhat like down to wheel, and that's you want. It will be somewhat like over here. I don't really know if it is somewhat over here, but it looks pretty cool. So yeah, you can tweak your values, and let me show what your effects are. And if you have any problems, any suggestion, leave it in the comment section below. Or you can, if you have any problems, be sure to ask me on my Facebook page, because YouTube is a terrible place to talk. And yeah, all the links are in the description, so make sure you have check out my Facebook page too. And you can ask me questions there, and if I won't be able to answer you, someone will put you in the right direction. Actually, I hope that. And yeah, till then, goodbye. And one more thing, that in the last episode I have said that I will show you how you can create a startup counter, but I thought that that would be pretty early, so I'm not gonna show you how to do that right now, but I will definitely show you in my the last episode of the car series, but not right now. It's not the time for that. Okay, so give your suggestion for the next episode, and till then, goodbye guys, and yeah, goodbye, and thanks for watching this, and be sure to subscribe on my channel, like this video, and do all that good stuff. Till then, goodbye.